Hey guys, it's Janie. Welcome back to the Crafting a Bookworm. Today, I have a review for you. Okay, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you guys being here so much. So, I have a review for you guys today, and this one is Monster by Frank Peretti. I read this book with my sister as a buddy read. It was scary at first. The whole book had those scary moments. Now, Frank Peretti is a Christian fiction writer. I'm going to read to you what the synopsis is of this first. Okay. It says, Reed Shelton organized this survival weekend, hired the best guide in the region, meticulously trained, studied, and packed while encouraging his wife, Beck, to do the same. But little did they know that surviving the elements would become the least of their worries. During their first night of camping, an unearthly wail pierces the calm of the forest. Then something, emerges from the dense woods and begins pursuing them. Everything that follows is a blur to Reed, except for the unforgettable image of a huge creature carrying his wife into the darkness. Dependent on the efforts of a small town and a band of friends, Reed knows they have little time to find Beck. Even more important, he soon realizes that they aren't the only ones doing the hunting. Something much faster, more relentless, and definitely not human has begun to hunt them. So, I have read Frank Peretti before and really like his writing. He's like in between Ted Dekker and Robert Liparulo, really, in his writing. As we found out in the synopsis, we're following Reed and Beck. And the very beginning part of this really kind of creeped me out because I just crawled into bed for the night and picked up the book. And I had texted my sister and said, this first part was scary. I literally put the book down for a few minutes because it really had me on edge. I do have to say, though, I did not expect some of the stuff that was going on. There was actually quite a bit that was surprising to me. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You think you pinpoint something and, you may or may not be right about it. Now, there are a lot of good versus evil elements in this book, which is, a lot of Christian fiction writers, those who write like thriller and stuff, that's generally what I feel like that's what they're going for. They want you to feel, to see, and notice the good versus evil aspects of a story. And Frank Peretti does it really well. I, myself, love that part of Christian fiction, especially if it's a thriller. The thriller ones are my favorites. So, as I said, we're following Reed and we're following Beck. And Reed, is trying to explain and convey what he saw. And of course, you're going to have those people that are just like, he is a nutcase. He's just off. He went off the deep end. There's no way what he is telling us is true. Now, you're also going to, through the story, be on Beck's side of things as well. So that's pretty much all I can tell you about that because I don't want to give away what Beck's storyline is in the book. But there are characters in here that I just wanted to because whether unbelief or bully tactics or, any of that kind of stuff that happens. So it gives you a good mix of relatable characters and then those characters that are relatable but on the other end of the spectrum, those characters that really get under your skin. And I like to see them when they get proven wrong in whatever you're reading. that gives you the satisfaction, you know. You can call these things righteous anger because of what the things that they do or say are despicable and go against moral values and stuff like that. So a great cast of characters in here, plenty to love, plenty to hate, and it's the flow is fantastic. Like, it was hard to put the book down at times, and let me tell you, if you're like, when you start this book, don't start it at night in bed. That probably wasn't a good idea. I don't get scared easily, but this was one of those situations where it could happen to you, kind of situation. You know, as I read in the synopsis, you know, they're out in the woods, they're going to be camping, and you hear that that twig snap, right? Or someone was chasing you, and you get to the side, and that anxiousness that you feel because they're coming, kind of thing. Those things really creep me out a lot, and you see that in this book. But yeah, it had great characters, great storyline, great flow. I loved the flow of the story, and I'm glad that I got to read this with my sister. Another book that I read by him was The Oath, which was really good, and I want to read This Present Darkness, which is one of his older books that my sister has read. If you like Christian fiction, he's a really good author to pick up. Really enjoyed the story a lot. And like I said, I'm going to be reading This Present Darkness soon. Right now, I am reading Diane Chamberlain. So I think once I finish that, I wanted something that wasn't quite as heavy after you read something like this. But maybe after I read that book, The Stolen Marriage is what it's called, I might go to This Present Darkness. So I already have it pulled out and at my desk, so I'll be ready to read that one. But yeah, this is Monster by Frank Peretti. You guys, let me know if you have read this book, or let me know if you've read any of Frank Peretti's books, or who is your favorite Christian writer. Let me know that too, because I'm always willing to try new authors, and I need to have more Christian fiction writers, because I read Frank Peretti, I read Ted Decker, Robert Liparulo. Those are the main ones. My sister also gave me Stephen James, and he's supposed to be really good as well. So I'm going to be investigating his books. But yeah, let me know if you read this book, or if you've read anything by Frank Peretti, or who your favorite Christian fiction author might be. And just share that stuff down in the comments. But I thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.